Okay, now we're starting.
Yep. So as we're gonna see here, we're gonna tell a very quickly how differently they will mash.
You know how they mash?
I've watched a couple streams.
Okay. There are several ways of doing it, but I'm not entirely sure which one the runners prefer on. The most common way is piano mashing, which can either be Shift Enter XZ or ZX Shift Enter. Shift Enter XZ is technically faster, but ZX Enter Shift is preferable since it's more natural for people to do.
And here we're getting to see our first bit of the puzzles. Many more to come.
So this is the only area where there's really any RNG, which we'll see later. It's not really in there until like the 2-minute mark, 2.5-minute mark. They seem to be pretty much in sync for
yeah.
As of now, with THK a little bit ahead, like not much, which is surprising since you can be like quite a few seconds behind or ahead during the first minute even, depending on your mashing.
Let's see. Do we get to see it here today?
The GD slide?
Guess we don't see it.
Oof. Now in this room coming up, you don't want to get an encounter. If you do, you want it to be a Whimsun, as it's immediately sparable.
Ooh, and TNK gets a Frogget. THK.
Ooh, that's the worst RNG you can possibly get. Okay, they both did not get an encounter in that room, which is also possible, but
it's
unlikely.
Rare.
This room, you always get an encounter in. You want it to be a Whimsun, since, like I said before, it's immediately sparable, which Oasus did not get. There is a glitch you can do here. Let's see if any of them get it.
I was about to say that. So, by the looks of it, we have TNK here. As you saw, he got an encounter right as he talked to the rock. That actually skips the rock cutscene, which saves about 5 seconds.
Nah, it saves less than that.
Oh. Item 3?
Maybe. I'd say about 1.
I'm bad, still bad at time.
So am I, don't worry. I don't even know what day it is.
I think it's the 20th, but I can't be too sure.
There's nothing difficult about Natsubu's fight. You just kind of want to cheer him on for the entirety of the fight. But it is a possible run killer if you miss menu, as threatening him will basically immediately kill the run, as it takes forever to get out of the fight.
I think isn't it like 15 to 20 perfect hits? To
kill him?
Yes.
I'm not sure. I think there's only one run that's not even on the main leaderboard that uses killing Napstablook. I think it's with Early Burn Pan.
Yeah. And we're about to come up to one of the best boss fights in the game.
I hate Toriel so much.
Why do you hate her? It's just
she basically just kidnaps you for her own selfish wants.
Then tortures you with RNG.
Wasn't mentioned before, but in the previous rooms, starting from where you exit Napstablook, you can get an encounter in basically every single one of those rooms if your movement isn't careful enough, which you obviously don't want. It's possible to not get a single encounter, but it's actually very unlikely.
So coming up here where you're about to leave the ruins after one small little roadblock. No, it's not a road and a block. So you want to explain the tutorial fight?
Gladly. So there's these, you'll see Oasis running into these attacks. They're called hands. Every time you run into it, it immediately ends the round, which you want, as it's obviously much faster. And there is one strategy that you can do. Basically, on one of the attacks, there's a clear fireball spawner that you could run into and get hit by 1 health. And in doing so, it enables you to be hit 8 times before Toriel refuses to hit you anymore. And it saves a lot more time over the usual 6 amount of times which you can be hit with.
And there is also very, very small chance you can actually die and have to restart from Napstablook from this fight alone.
And it has happened many times to runners and it immediately killed their run.
Yep.
Normally it is faster to kill Toriel here in any other route that doesn't get the Papyrus. The reason for that is because killing Papyrus immediately gets you to 34 health. And as the strategy is to die to Papyrus in order to save time, it's unoptimal to kill her.
But it's always fun to kill the monsters behind their back.
I think it's fun to kill Toriel.
I think it's fun to kill Sans.
This isn't the genocide route.
Oh, it isn't? Why am I here then? But this is...
So Oasis gets a 742 ruins, and THK gets a 751, maybe a very late 750.
About 750.5.
How do you see that?
I have eyes on everything.
If I didn't have my glasses, I wouldn't be able to see my computer.
I wear contacts that say, "Do not kill Toriel."
How can you see anything?
Good question. And here we're about to enter the wonderful land of Snowden, where the fun begins.
You see Oasis go to the top of the board. You could probably go a little bit up more, but the reason for that is because when you run up, it's faster to get to the lamp where you hide behind than it would be to be at the bottom of the bridge.
I think that's actually as high as you can get.
I'm pretty sure too, but we just talked about this. My eyesight is terrible.
Yeah, maybe a pixel off, but... But I hope everyone brought their spaghetti, because we're going to see a lot of that coming up.
I honestly don't like spaghetti.
True. I'm more of a ramen guy.
Same.
There is a total of 93 endings in the Undertale alone. But
there are 12 major endings, but there's 93 alternative endings.
As you can see, Oasis grabbed and equipped the Tough Glove. This is actually going to be more useful because our original weapon was the stick, and, well, I'll leave it to when we get there to say the rest.
You know, I wish the whole dogs loving sticks in this game mimicked real life. Every time I throw a stick to my dog, she just kind of stares at me and then goes to eat something.
The closest thing I've got to that was throwing a squeaky toy at my dog. As you can see here, Oasis is entering the doggo fight, and he went to use the stick. Using the stick, saves the most time because dogs love sticks somehow.
Makes them instantly spareable and saves a ton of turns.
We're gonna see that maybe about 4 more times throughout this run.
An interesting thing is that sliding on the ice does not affect your step counter, which is how this game registers getting encounters by.
It would be easier to explain more if this was a genocide route, but that's enough fun. According to Star.
I haven't ran genocide in like a year or two.
How do genocide when I get sub 110?
You can't even get sub 110 for this route.
I never went to the point of playing Jap.
Alright, chat, what's better, crossword or jumble?
It's the hardest question in the world. If you get it right, you go to Harvard. Or
It's
Oxford,
crossword.
your pick. That is correct. No, it's jumble.
What? You're wrong.
No, it's always been jumble. How do you not know this?
Fun thing that we won't get to see. The stick also works for endogamy and True Lab, as it's counted as a dog.
Yes.
Crossword is easy. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Jumble is the easiest thing in the world.
I don't know. I've never played Jumble. I don't even know what that is. So a built-in function in the game, you can just kind of skip the puzzle by clicking the switch in the tree.
If you just give up, no casual play, just talk to Papyrus like 3 times and he tells you about it. So as you can see here, Oasis is gonna be saying that he does not understand Papyrus's text about 2 times. This skips it saves a lot of time from waiting for a
saves about
cutscene.
15 seconds.
Yeah. 15, 16, whatever.
If you aren't careful, you can easily say that you do understand it, and it will cause the cutscene to continue.
And depending on what your time is, it can be a huge run kill.
And here we have Ice Puzzle Skip.
Let's see if any of our runners get it today.
By going at a specific pixel. Yeah, no, Oasis did not get the right pixel. If you get at this right pixel and go diagonal, you can just kind of go across the switch and skip the cutscene that
it looks like
hitting the switch causes as the walkway is made, which neither of them got.
So as you saw, Oasis quickly went down and entering the room. If you just hold right, you're gonna get stuck on a snow puff and lose about half a second.
There is a little thing here. You saw that the runners saved at the beginning of Snowden. The reason for that is because there is a possibility that you can get a dog attack, which if you just run into will immediately end the turn, as THK got.
And here we see the hardest puzzle of the game. We gotta dodge spikes, fire, spears, cannons, and a Toby Fox.
Wow, Toby Fox is pretty cute.
Yeah, true. It'd be hard to just pass over him. Oh.
And then we enter the village of Snowdon.
A wonderful place where everyone's happy.
There is a small glitch here, which the runners probably will not do. If you interact with the sign next to the igloo, the same frame that you enter the igloo, you can cause the text box to show up, and then you can wrong warp into the next room by closing the text box the same frame you enter the room.
I never knew that.
Saves about a second or so, I believe. The
As
only
you
one
guys-
that really consistently goes for it is, I think, Cookie and Geo, that I know of. Shay or Snowy might also go for it.
I haven't seen them do it recently. I know a few people are trying to get Task Rock skip perfectly.
It was mentioned before, but you can basically just kind of kill yourself during the papyrus fight, and it saves about 4 to 5 seconds over doing it normally. He'll just kind of send you back into the warehouse, and you just have to fight him for three times. It saves about 45 seconds.
And if you accidentally press fight, you gotta do it a whole 4th time.
Yeah, after the 3rd time of fighting him, Papyrus will say if you want to keep fighting or if you'd rather not and just be friends. And if you do say you want to keep fighting, you waste a ton of time going through the fight again and then going back to talk to Papyrus to say no.
I never understood something. What are friends?
I think you can download them.
I don't remember seeing a friends app on my phone.
Check
I'll
real
check.
quick.
Yeah.
There is also another glitch in Snowdon that basically it's RTA viable, but like it's so RNG heavy that it's really only used in tasks. If you manage to get an encounter the same frame you enter the cutscene for the dog gaming and doggo wrestle fight, you can just totally skip the fight. And the same goes for the doggy fight, the first dog fight in Snowdon that you can get.
It's one of the things you don't see very often in runs.
No. Very few people, if any, go for it, and it's really only used for tasks. I never mentioned this, but for the first phase of the Papyrus fight, you have to throw the stick at him, or check. Apparently check is faster, but...
It is.
Yeah, it's faster if you're good at tech smashing, but if you're not, then you just want to throw the stick. And then after that, you're automatically blue, so you can just spare him. The reason you throw the stick at first is to avoid the turning blue part of the cutscene, as it wastes a lot of time.
Isn't it about like 15 seconds?
About, yeah. And now we enter a waterfall.
And we're about to see one of the best characters in the neutral category. Other than Sans.
Flowey isn't here.
No one likes Flowey.
I like Flowey. Also, Asgore isn't here.
Yeah, true, Asgore.
We have upcoming 2 flower puzzles, which is really easy, but actually kills a lot of runs for people who are trying to go too fast and then misdirect the flower.
We will be getting to that later.
We have the entire Asgore fight to discuss that, believe me.
And we mean the entire fight.
So the first one isn't too difficult. It's possible to screw it up, but it's not as likely. This one, however, it's not really difficult, but like if you aren't careful, you can easily screw it up. This one took me forever to figure out in my casual playthrough.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not that smart of a person.
I'm taking like 6 AP classes. This was nothing.
Listen, I can't even handle an honors class.
Screw I'll have my AA degree by 2020, and I'll still be in 11th. I'll be in 11th grade by then.
Alright, now we get to Spears 1. There is some RNG manipulation, since it's not really random. Undyne Spears just kind of follow you in randomish directions, but they follow you. So as long as, if you want the spears to go up, just go up and then immediately go down, and the spears for the most part will just pass by you.
In the next room, there's gonna be it's a small chance, but sometimes the spears will hit you, losing about 2 seconds.
Yeah, like, you really can't control. You can just be walking straight and it will hit you.
Let's see if that happens. No, it does not.
And here we have this ridiculously long cutscene that a lot of people take for breaks. I think I've gone to the bathroom during this cutscene once.
I've heated up some dinner during this. And I still made it back in time.
And here we get to the arguably more fun part of the round. Most people agree that it's the most fun part of the round. Or rather, the more fun part.
So first, let's see if they get the special room. Looks... Okay, so it looks like no, but as you can see here, Oasis is going to talk to a ice cream seller. By buying an ice cream, he can pick up a punch card. The punch card is the most broken thing you've ever seen.
Shoutouts to Rambu and Valnar for finding this. And shoutouts to Jane Vidanium for extensive testing with this.
So there is a glitch you can do which Oasis did not attempt, where if you do an overflow, I don't know how to describe overflows. At the same time, you check the box, you can wrong warp into the next room when you walk into it.
An overflow is basically putting the punch card. The way movement works is that you're either at interact 1 or 0. When you're moving, it's at 1. And if you overflow, you can put it, despite the fact that you should be in 0, you can put it at 1.
Yes. That's science I don't understand. I'm not technical.
I don't have the paste bin open.
I didn't even attempt to put it open.
Should be something I need to put in the Discord later. Yeah, we'll try our best to explain all the glitches and tricks that the runners are doing, but they're happening so fast that might skip a few.
So
we'll
I just see on I just saw on Oasis screen, he actually talked to Onion San. That loses about 10-15 seconds just from his cutscene along. On thk screen, he did a PCE to actually skip the cutscene animation room a lot faster.
There is actually a risk with the room Oasis did. Let's see if THK does it. Okay, THK got it. If you mash too early, oh my god.
You will soft lock.
It's possible if you're at the end and then you mash too early, Monster Kid won't come up to you like he just did. He'll fly off the screen and you'll permanently soft-walk.
The largest skip of the game would have to be, I think, New Show?
It can be New Show, Metaton, what else?
There's a lot of big ones.
North-South is pretty big as well.
North-South.
There's Judgment Skip. There's a lot of skips. I don't know which saves the most time.
I think it'd be New Show, because New Show, you have to wait 2 minutes, or do all the cutscenes. Metaton, you skip like a 5-minute fight. North-South is like a minute, 2 minutes.
So let's see, the skip that Oasis just did, if you fail it, it can lose about 15 seconds, which is a pretty big time loss. And it's quite difficult. And THK did, I don't think he even went for it.
He didn't
unless
even
he tried to do
it.
a frame perfectly.
No, he didn't.
Frame perfectly is the fastest way to do a skip, but it's very difficult to do.
Isn't that the fastest way to do every skip, though? Isn't that the fastest way to do every skip, though?
Yeah, it's the fastest way to do every skip with that involves just punch carding into a cutscene. And keep in mind that every time these runners wrong warp, which is opening and closing and the punch card the same frame you enter a room, that warps them into the default position of the room. It can cause a soft walk if they don't do it correctly. So every room that they do a wrong warp in, it can immediately soft walk them.
So coming up here, we're gonna see a fight known as Mad Dummy. Normally you might think, why don't we just skip it? Well, even if we skip the first, like, little, cutscene, there's still an invisible wall that doesn't leave until we finish the fight. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
There's also a little trick here that saves 0 time, but it's really interesting to watch. Basically, they probably won't attempt it here, but if you go a pixel, if you are on the right pixel that you are on one of the wooden tiles on the same frame that you go off on the water, you can just kind of walk across the water like you're Jesus, so we call it Jesus Frisk.
As you see here, I don't think, will Tink do it? What, TNK? Well,
THK.
Yeah. So they're both actually going to do a safety save, because for new runners, this fight is one you're going to die at a lot learning the strategy.
Not really dying, but you can very easily rip your punch card here as well if you try to attempt to heal. There is also a way to manip this fight for if you do specific movements and aim the balls in the correct way. You can get the balls to go at him in enough amounts in a short amount of time. And shoutouts to Bracket Mo and TGH for coming up with and refining this strategy.
They're dust, they're not balls.
Magic balls, magic dust, same thing.
True.
But both of them did not go for it.
If I remember, isn't it like 500 hits with the dust to activate phase 2?
Ooh, THK died.
Ooh.
That's not good.
Oh.
But, his health, let me think. His health is 300 and you want to get it down to 196.
So that's gonna be about 104.
Yeah. You need 104 hits. Which can be quite difficult, but as long as you do the manip correctly, it's quite easy once you get the hang of it.
Entering the second phase, instead of little dummies, we have robot dummies. And these missiles, doesn't matter if they hit the dummy, as long as you get through the 4 turns, you're good.
And it is very easy to die in the next few phases as well, because if you're not careful, the robots can easily clip into you and kill you. When Absolute comes in, the raindrops can kill you, which has happened, believe me, even though it does only 1 health of damage. And getting hit by the knife, which does 7 health of damage, can also kill you.
Right, so the attack Oasis just did was actually the hardest attack of the fight. Everything comes at you at once and can easily cause a game over if you're not careful.
So Oasis is in the clear, he's fine. He can continue. And to one of the hardest tricks in the game, bridge skip. I'm surprised you didn't correct me.
Sorry, I was doing something.
Yeah, there's a wrong warp. No, yeah, there's a wrong warp you can do here and a skip. One or the other. No, actually both of them. It saves a little bit amount of time. Oasis did the skip part. The room Oasis in right now, you can wrong warp into that room and it saves quite a significant amount of time over some of the other wrong warps that you attempt.
And now let's see if anyone goes to the little place for the memes. Looks like no.
Nah.
Gotta love. Can't just leave Temmie alone. Temmie needs friends.
So in this room, you are guaranteed a Temmie encounter, no matter what. You could just flee.
Yeah.
Although if you aren't careful and you don't flee from her, many runners have also died to that encounter. One of the more notable ones was TGH dying to Temmie during a race and still getting a sub 1, which is a huge milestone for runners of this category.
When you get sub 1, pretty much any little mistake you do will make or break your run.
So that's a TGH. He died during Temmie and still got sub 1. There is a trick here during what Oasis is doing. It's called flower flow. If you overflow the flower, you can regain movement in the room, and it saves a little bit of time to go up to the next room above you. Although you can't do it until the cutscene is over. And it seems like THK's feed has frozen. So we'll continue with Oasis until it's fixed. No, the hardest skip in the game is bridge skip. You can't tell me otherwise. One of the things I did not mention before is if you wrong warp into a room, it can change your subpixel, which is important for the pixel you land on for where you want to do the skip.
So it doesn't look like Oasis is going to attempt it, but there's a fun little trick here known as one dying. It skips this cutscene you're seeing here. It also can skip the second one and wrong warp you into the next room.
It saves about 25 seconds over, I think, doing regular Undyne. Which is quite a lot of time saved, but a lot of people don't go for it for how risky it is and how it works a lot differently compared to a lot of the other skips in the game. We're not entirely sure why. It just doesn't work different. It just works differently.
Normal runners don't usually start attempting it till 105.
Well, you can get away with not attempting until like you have a 58, but.
And you see here, Oasis is attempting to do the one dying.
Doing regular 1 cycle. And
yeah.
I don't think he actually might have just gotten 2 cycle. See, the reason that causes 1 cycle for this, among with skipping the first encounter, if you go under the W under the welcome sign when you first enter that room, for some reason, it puts you in a position where you can skip the next phase of the fight. But if you don't go under it, you'll still get the encounter.
So by the looks of it, THK did disconnect. Thank you, one of our beautiful SG volunteer. Well, I think it's a staff member.
So you see Oasis is challenging Undyne. That causes her attacks to go much faster, which obviously is faster in general, over compared to just sparing. But you do want to spare after the 3rd time you challenge, or the 4th. Since it doesn't affect Undyne further.
No, it does not.
At least
it was
got a
close.
2 cycle. Yeah, he was not under the W in the way he should have been. But yeah, after the third cycle of challenging Undyne, the attacks don't go any faster, so you can just go to spare at that point.
Okay, and it looks like we're finally in the Hotland area. Things become real now. So, as you see Oasis attempting here, he's actually going to overflow this Undying cutscene. Normally, a true pacifist, you would have to water her, but skipping it actually doesn't mark the flag.
It was not an overflow, by the way.
Oh,
it was
sorry.
just regular punch
PC.
carding.
I'm sorry.
The skip Oasis is attempting now, which is lap skip. There are 3 ways to do it technically, but the way he just did is the fastest method. You get it framed perfectly. Overflowing it is the safest method, and there's another attempt that does not require the punch card, which isn't really used except for the 1.0 version.
Isn't it also used in Genocide?
Oh yes, it is. It also, and that's also not what we use in 1.0. It's used pre punch card before we found the punch card skip. It's used in Genocide to get early burned pan, just to get it faster, so you don't have to go all the way down to get it. It saves quite a few seconds. And now we're gonna go out of bounds.
Yeah.
And he's gonna get the perm pan, which is very useful for the Asgore fight. It's by far the best weapon to get for the Asgore fight in the game if you're good at it. Although it is quite difficult as it requires 4 frame per inputs per attack to do it optimally. But we'll get to that when we get to the fight. More into it. This game is actually quite easy, as while all of them are technically frame perfect, 1 is in 30 FPS, so it's not nearly as bad as it would be in 60 FPS, and 2, you can buffer everything. You can take as much time as you need or want to attack the skip. And and unless it's a wrong warp and you soft walked, you can get as many times to try as you want. Bless you.
That was unexpected. Thank God I muted my mic.
Having a little bit of trouble with the east-west skip here.
Nope. I've always found
the vents, if you punch card the vents, they can just wildly throw you around depending on the direction you are in. And it can tend to throw you out of bounds, which allows you to skip many puzzles.
And it looks like Oasis is not going to attempt the punch card for the 4 vents.
What is he doing?
I don't. He's going for jetpack.
Oh no, he failed it. He mashed way too early.
Yeah.
I did not know that you can punch card the cutscene. I thought you could only overflow it, which overflowing it is the safest method to do. And if you mash before you hit the invisible wall that prevents you from continuing, then you will not be able to skip the jetpack part of the event.
And now we get to see a beautiful glitched out camera view of Mettaton dancing. Oh, yep, got THK back.
And we do kill Vulcan here, by the way, as it gains ups us to level 4, which allows the Asgore fight to go much more smoothly and faster. It usually would not be faster, but there's so little time it takes to kill Vulcan, as it's basically just mashing it then ends the fight, that it's worth to get.
Did Oasis kill Vulcan? I never actually saw it.
He probably did, but honestly, THK did not actually have to kill Vulcan, as he got the butterscotch pie, which is basically, it does the same exact thing as killing Vulcan does.
Yeah.
We don't go for the pie though, because it's slower than just killing Vulcan.
So we're gonna see the two different ways you can fight Asgore for this route.
And as you could see, despite the fact that THK died to Dummy, with Oasis failing jetpack skip, it actually gained quite a bit of amount of time over Oasis, that they're decently close.
I'm gonna say about maybe a 3-4 minute delay between them both.
Alright, so the reason that Oasis went back is because you don't have your menu after significant cutscenes like the jetpack skip, after Mettaton's musical, stuff like that. So for some reason, when you go back to that area of the room, the flag sets it that you have your menu back since it's after the Undyne fight, and you should have your menu back. So you can just grab your menu back from there and go continue. And fun thing, in the room Oasis was just in, you can go down to the bottom and skip all the Alphys text that you just saw him mashing.
And here we go.
Ooh, it.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you guys
mash the punch card away too early.
I'm gonna let you guys know now. Turn down your volume. You guys can turn it back up now.
THK did not get jetpack skip, so he's about as far behind as he was before.
That is correct. So, as we can see, Waste is attempting here. He's trying to punch card through the vents to actually skip this whole little mini puzzle.
It was mentioned in chat, but Oasis did not actually have to go back to get his menu, as he went through the entire cutscene for the jetpack, so he did not actually lose his menu, but he probably did it through muscle memory. Same thing for THK. He doesn't have to go back either. And here's one of the more significant skips, 2 in a row, that skips a fight and one of the Mettaton's events, if they manage to get it. Throughout the whole run, all of the runs are visual cue based, with only one having the potential to be audio cue based if you really wanted to, which is Onion Sand Skip. But most of them are pretty easy, except for this one. It's just a black area, so you have to rely on step count. After about 6 steps to the right is when you should start punch carding, as that's when the cutscene is the triggers for the cutscene.
So as we're going to see here, Oasis is of course going to go back to the beginning of Hotland to reset his menu.
Figure I might as well mention it since THK is doing it. Obviously, you don't want to get hit by anything during the jetpack's cutscene, as it wastes time.
And every second matters in a speedrun. Just gotta save the frames.
You can overflow regular overflow or punch card the menu for the elevator to skip the elevator cutscene, which saves a few seconds every time you do it.
And I wonder if we're gonna see the wrong warp for the elevator later on.
And this is arguably one of the hardest parts of the game, north-south skip. I find it personally easy, but a lot of people have trouble with it.
It's pretty difficult. Both of the punch card executions you're gonna see here could possibly soft lock you.
This first one, it only saves like about 10 seconds. You can just go around instead. And it might be worth it at this point, but if you get it the first or second try, you'll usually save time. And you really can't soft lock on this part, but you can soft lock on the second part of it.
Really? I've gotten a few cases where you did soft lock on the first one.
Seriously? Well, I mean, if you go left, then you definitely can. But it's usually hard softlock going right.
Oh, it looks like THK did get a soft lock there.
Oh, he was sent back very far behind. That's not good.
Oh. Whose audio do we have playing anyways?
Ooh, north south. Okay, he got the first. Did he soft? No, he did not. He got the first part of it. Can he get the second part of it, which saves the actual amount of time? You can either mash or do a timing method in order to get the skip. It depends. It's personal preference, really. North-south skip, there's basically 2 puzzles on the north and south side of this area that you have to complete before doing this, but boosting yourself out of bounds with events just bypasses all of it, which saves quite a few minutes.
It does look like we lost audio on Oasis.
As for east-west, there's the same thing. There's 2 puzzles on the east and west side that you can go out of bounds with the vent to bypass it, as you can see by THK. You could soft-locked on it by throwing yourself out of bounds, but not in an area where you can freely walk, or like in between the vents, the tiles, so that you can't walk there either. So the game's still running, but you can't move or progress anything. Let's see if THK gets the jetpack skip this time, however.
See, he is taking the safe route.
Oh, he did not.
Ooh.
And Oasis did get north-south, though.
After many heartfelt attempts, we are now seeing one of the best skips, in my opinion, Muffet Skip.
And there's 3 triggers here which you can do to skip Muffet, so it's very hard to fail this skip, as long as you know the triggers. It's the next skip that can be quite difficult.
I would normally say, like, start doing the punch card around the end of the first cobweb.
There is a little trick here. If you go at one of the corners of the web towards the end, you can do a little slide at the corners of it and go a little bit faster. And he got Metaton Opera Skip.
Yep. So, what we're actually seeing here is Oasis does not actually have his menu, but he's going to the beginning of core because the elevator trigger for the section doesn't actually activate till you hit this cutscene, which saves time just walking around. Oh.
The person who's ahead right now was Oasis.
Yes.
And Oasis will go back to get his menu, which is the last time we'll see this before he proceeds through core and then through new home. And THK is now done with the jetpack section. And save as a safety precaution, so he doesn't have to go through that again.
So
there's you go.
Yeah. So here we're actually gonna see some of the best uses for the punch card. It's gonna skip most of these cutscenes right here.
Oasis just skip the magic battle, which if you do happen to fail, it doesn't waste too much time, as you could just throw the stick at magic and it immediately ends the fight. We're not really sure why. He's not really a dog. Maybe he is. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, throwing a stick just immediately ends the fight. It's one turn. And you can just skip this entire laser section. Don't worry if you don't get the first trigger. There's a second one that loses a little bit of time, but you can also skip the majority of it that way as well. There's an overflow with this puzzle that Oasis is doing that allows you to move during the cutscene, which is a little bit faster, but if you're new to the game, you don't want to go for it. It's not really worth it unless you're very good at overflow.
I don't remember this route.
It's called Snowy Core. Basically, if you go back and wrong warp into every room, you could save a little bit amount of time.
But
Oasis is not wrong warping, which does not make it worth it at all. He's losing time by doing it that way.
I did notice it was Snowy Strats, but
yeah, it's called Snowy Core.
I just call it Snowy Strats.
And Metaton skip, sorry, we won't be seeing one of the best songs in the game and one of the best characters in the game.
No legs around in the speedrun. Sorry.
And the room Oasis in, there is a skip to skip this Alphys cutscene, but it's kind of hard to get as there's no really good visual trigger, as all the tiles are pretty much the same.
People normally go off by how the lights on the wall go.
And THK did not get a new show skip, will waste also a lot amount of time. There's a strategy here. Some of them you do want to fight them as it is faster. Others you just want to defuse the bomb normally as you would casually. I couldn't tell you which ones for which exactly, as I haven't done TP glitchless in God knows how long.
I think the bomb would have to be defuse. Agile water is going to be the defuse for sure.
There's not much left for the punch card here. In New Home, it's just a series of... It's just a few wrong warps and a little bit of few glitches, like one here. We call it Magor skip, since Magor is the one who found it. You can skip one of the story encounters by wrong warping. You punch card, you wrong warp the key, you close it at the same time you enter one of the Oasis failed it. You punch card it, you close it at the same time you enter one of the encounters, then enter the room to your right, and you could just totally skip the cutscene, which Oasis did fail as he entered the room too early.
Guess this is turning more into a neutral glitch this round than anything.
There is a little bit of time save here that most runners don't go for, really only top runners. In the next room there's also a key you can punch card it, then use the text box to wrong warp out of the room, which saves a little bit of time. And THK will now be going to level 3.
So, we have time to just relax here. It's gonna be about 3 minutes for... What's this called?
New Home. Monster Tale, one or the other.
I don't remember what it's called. I always referred to it as Monster Tale.
There's also a wrong warp here that Oasis did not go for, which skips this Luke's encounter. It saves a little bit of time.
Everyone's just playing it safe now. It's at the end.
And THK having a little bit of trouble with North-South skip. But yeah, for the rest of New Home, for the story, there's absolutely nothing. It's just the story, which makes it the most boring part of the run. You just kind of sit here and talk with chat if you're streaming, or maybe look through Twitter or something, I don't know. Okay, THK got the first part of it much quicker than Oasis did. So you can get the second part quicker.
Close. It's cutting really close now, brother. Ooh.
Believe it or not, THK can still win this, as Oasis can do a number of things. He can fail a skip, he can take a long time at Asgore, he can die to Flowey, and many things could still happen to set him back. Okay, THK got the second part, and we'll continue to muff it in Mettaton Opera Skip.
Taking the safety save here.
Muffet skip first try.
Okay.
Little few buffers, but that's okay. I personally think that Mettaton Opera Skip is pretty difficult. I don't know why, but for me personally, my menu just kind of doesn't show up sometimes, it just runs into the cutscene.
It's not that difficult.
And then I get really sad.
I've done the opera skip enough times to have it down by memory.
And THK got it without a problem.
So this is actually turning out to be a really interesting run here.
THK will now go back to get his menu, and Matcha will be done by the time that he goes to get it back. Actually, it's done right now, which the next skip will be Judgment Skip, which you just kind of bypass the entirety of Sans judgment on you, because you don't care, you're basically a sociopath.
Pretty much.
And here's what we call Ramu Kombu, which is 3 consecutive wrong warps that skips a room and 2 cutscenes. And if you fail the last one, that's called a Wubu Kobo.
Why is it called that?
Because Lobotomy was the first one to, probably not the first one to do it, but he was one of the first to do it and name it. Ooh, no, he's soft locked. See what I said?
Yeah. Good thing you took the safety save right there.
Anything could happen.
Long ago.
Thankfully he didn't lose too much time, but that's still quite a bit of time lost.
In my opinion, these 3 have to be the hardest soft locks out there. Well, easy to soft lock, just hard to pull off.
Ooh, he ran right into the cutscene. There is an alternative. You can just punch card the cutscene, and it loses a little bit of amount of time comparing to wrong warping it, but it's easier to do if you're not that good at wrong warps.
I do think he was actually going to try for the cutscene overflow instead of the wrong warp.
And it'd be worth it to reload and try again, honestly.
Yeah.
And THK failed magic skip, which again, like I said before, you can just rectify it by throwing the stick at magic. Doesn't lose that much time.
I never understood why magic likes sticks.
I don't understand it either. We got only one wrong word part of the Ramu combo, and now we're at Asgore. And if you're good at punch cards, it's the toughest part of the run.
Yeah. So, you gotta explain the Asgore fight?
You use the burn pan, which is 4 lines that you have to... You don't have to hit it in the center. It doesn't work like that. You have to hit it a frame before the center in order to get a quad. You have to hit 4 of them frame perfectly in order to get a quad, which is the most amount of damage at about 380. Getting about 9 of those results in a task score, which has been done before, the first one being done by Xander TJ10, which you can look at his YouTube channel. And it's quite impressive to watch, but most people do not get them. I don't think it's ever been done in a run, actually. It's very difficult to do.
I can't recall any cases of it.
It's 36 frame perfect inputs in the span of a few minutes. If you can get quite a few quads, you're in good hands.
Basically, one of the run differences you're going to see between these two is since THK did get the butterscotch pie, he's going to be using it on Asgore around the first few turns. That lowers his attack and defense, which overall isn't that the neutral glitchless route?
No, you don't. You just do it fight normally, as you're so buffed up by all your previous fights that it doesn't matter.
And Oasis is doing the normal route, where he just killed the Vulcan, which I think isn't it faster by a few seconds because of the
yeah, it's
sequence?
faster than picking up the pie.
Yeah,
as you can just mash through the fight and then end it as compared to going through the cutscene to get the pie.
And fun little fact, every cycle of the attacks Asgore uses makes his attacks just a teeny bit faster. You'll see and notice soon.
You do want to try to get quads, as every quad you save 8 seconds total, which is a total turn. Which so far Oasis has gotten 1. Let's see if THK gets Metaton skip, which he did.
Metaton skip is kind of a freebie though.
It's kind of difficult, as it's one of the few it's actually the only punch card that you punch card up for, which is more difficult than comparing it to doing right or left.
Makes perfect sense.
Oasis got 1 frame off of getting another quad. Unfortunate, but it happens very often. It frustrates a lot of people. Another 1 frame off.
It was a frame off?
Yep, pretty sure.
It looks like he got on
I don't
4.
have very good eyes. No, he did not. You can tell by the amount of damage he's done.
That was 3.
You'll get 380. You'll get 380 if you get a full quad.
I think I don't remember. I think I only done like 5 quads in my life.
You do have a safety save with an ice cream if you really need it, but usually you don't. And THK is now entering New Home.
And as you can see, as I said earlier, the attacks do get faster. Here's the perfect example of it.
It is faster to go right first in New Home, as you can skip one of the longer parts of the story, but THK went left. Ooh, when Oasis finished it right in time before he could have potentially died.
It was cutting close there.
Only ending with 1 quad. Which is better than none, but it's still quite a bit of time loss compared to getting more. And you do want to fight Asgore here, as killing him wastes the least amount of time. Or saves time over sparing. Oh, Oasis timer restarted.
Oof.
Oof.
What?
We have SRL though, so we can see the final time. Hopefully. Unless you have my timer and just ending the timer immediately sets off SRL.
Isn't that what Live Split does?
Hmm?
Isn't that what Live Split does?
Yeah, you do it through Live Split.
By the looks of it, it didn't actually trigger SRL, so everything's still good.
THK, usually you want to do it with the key, but you can do it with just flower if you fail to overflow on the key.
This is going to be difficult in time.
And THK managed to get the skip, which wasn't worth it in the grand scheme of things with how far he had to go to do it. But it's still an impressive show. He just kind of wrong whipped out of the room and then punch card stuttered out in order to skip the encounter. Theoretically, you can skip every single encounter in the game by stuttering the punch card. But it's not worth it most of the time. The only place it's worth it is in hard mode, where you can skip the more difficult encounters. And we can use THK's count timer, as it's not exactly the same, but it wasn't when we last saw it. And Oasis are in the Flowy fight, which is basically just not a scroller unless you manage to die, which really the only excusable place to die in is the ballet shoe phase.
I thought you can't.
It can be
I thought you can't die in the
you cannot die in the soul phases, but if you manage to skip the ballet shoe act button, you won't get a heal, and it's very possible to die afterwards as you have low health. If I remember right, Frisk can be hit 14 times here before they die.
It's 14.
Yeah, 14.
I may not have the route open, but I know a good bit of the stuff.
And I believe Flowey is the most weak character in the game, except he hits you at such a frequency that this happens. It can be very easy to die on your first try, as it's such a shock to you.
And a good bit of the attacks after the first soul are going to be RNG heavy, what you get.
It's actually kind of the other way around. On the first few phases, it's all very random. You don't know what's going on. But later on, not really sure if that's how Toby intended or if he got lazy, but it's very predictable what happens in the later phases, as the same thing happens every single time in every single run.
With how much lore Undertale has, I don't think that would have been unintentional. Since Toby loves this game.
I don't know. He's done similar things in the past.
True, with his Earthbound ROM hack.
But yeah, the later phases are very predictable. And in the healing parts of the fight, the soul phases, you cannot die, and you don't always get a full heal. The first one is guaranteed a full heal, as is the burned pan phase. But ones like this one and like the tape ones, it's not a full heal guaranteed. You have to move around. And the ballet shoe phase is not a full heal, but it's very nearly one.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but after the third phase... Oh, no, second phase. Second phase. So after the second phase, you're gonna see Flowey start loading files, just to try to put you off guard.
Yup. And that's what makes it so predictable later.
Yeah. Especially in the final phase of the fight.
Let's see if THK can do the Rambu combo. By the way, if you aren't in the right position for the ballet shoe, you can completely skip the act button, you won't get a full heal, and you can die the next round. THK did get the Rambu combo. And will be entering Asgore. Alright, chat, left or right? Hopefully this reaches in time. If not, we'll just use it for THKs.
Yeah.
Alright, it did go in time. Seems good.
Yep. It just on time. So, let's see. It was
right.
It was right. So, congratulations to our winner, Mr.
Winners.
Normally, like in the Link to the Past, they do it like the first person. So, meh. Congratulations to our winner.
That's fair. Okay, let's see how THK's Asgore is. He has a much higher attack as he used the pie. And combined with killing Vulcan, it gives him a much higher advantage than Oasis had.
So we should see if he gets the close or more quads than Oasis, a faster version of Asgore.
If he gets the same amount of quads as Oasis, his fight will probably still be faster due to the attack boost.
And this is one of the best places to heal for full health. And the flower fight.
Alright, there is a little skip coming up in the next phase. Firestar, you want to explain it?
So basically, right after the phase ends, you can actually close it out of the game and open it up, and it stops a whole, like, 30-second cutscene of the souls reacting.
Basically, once the gun starts shaking, you want to close out of the game, as it completely skips the healing part of the fight, and you're automatically healed once you start it up again, so you don't have to worry about that.
I was thinking the later part, wasn't I?
I'm not sure.
I don't...
Although there is another skip that involves loading later on.
But it's most likely that one. Because I know it's before Flowery, but after this.
Did you say Flowery?
Yes, I did. There it is. So, here the attacks get slowed down, and Flowey has a low defense.
There is a little trick here that will probably not be done. If you hesitate a little bit towards the end, you can finish off the fight faster. Let's see. Will THK get any quads? He hasn't gotten a single one so far,
no,
but it's
nothing.
still possible to at least come on even with Oasis. Oasis will definitely win the race. It's not possible unless he dies, which doesn't, like, never happens. Even if he did die, it wouldn't lose that much time, so Oasis will probably be the winner.
Yeah.
The entire Flowey fight is just an auto-scroller to speedrunners, really. The only way you could possibly speed it up is by getting a better computer as to do loads better. And even then, there are workaways around that.
So basically anything but my excuse for a computer. No joke.
So THK did not get a single quad, which is unfortunate.
And we get both our winners at the final run of the fight. I mean, of the run.
And listen, my computer was really bad before I had an 1120 Flowey. The fastest possible one is about a little below 11 minutes, so I lost 20 seconds to Flowey at least just through loads, which is quite a lot of time.
I use like one of those old chipsets from the early 2000s, so those things are just killer. And as you see, we had to do the whole Flowey fight again. Rip.
There is a little save and load thing that THK just did. After the screen turns totally white after Flowey gains the souls, you want to exit out and reload the game, as it's a little bit faster than just waiting for it to crash and to reload the game.
So, as you can see here, Oasis is actually going to friendliness pellets. Doing this, actually, once Flowey's text finishes, lets you skip the whole animation of the friendliness pellets going out and killing you.
This was seen a little bit earlier in kind of a storyline. What are that called? What is it called? Such the F. I don't know. It basically directly reflects what happens with Toriel before in the beginning of the
Flower Flow? I'm joking.
No. Oh, a foil, my bad. It's called a foil. It's a foil directly to what happened earlier in the fight. And earlier in the realm of Toriel. It's a literary term. That's why you don't know it. Mr. 6 AP classes.
Yeah. I don't get AP classes, but I don't spend every second of my day speedrunning. I'm not TGH.
Foil is a literary term, not a speedrunning term.
I failed English. I'm not taking that this year.
Alright, so,
Oasus.
Firestar mentioned it earlier, but Oasis did the exit and reloaded the game, which skips the cutscene of Flowey, which you do want to kill as it is faster.
Oasis finishes with final SRL time of 1:14:55.
Congratulations to Oasis in the chat, please.
I'm gonna go ahead and invite him for an interview.
And you can watch THK do Flowey and maybe do out spam in the call.
We have Oasis here. How you doing, good sir?
Holy crap! That was quite the experience. Is he still going?
Yeah, he's during the sword phase of the Flowey fight.
Phase 2.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
he failed jetpack skip twice as he soft locked later on and had to redo it, and he also failed on what was it called? New show skip. God, I can't think straight.
It was a very close race early on.
Yeah, it was
and I expect I lost a lot of ground due to some of my lack of knowledge of some of the deeper strats. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. As you guys know, I'm kind of new to this, and I had no delusions about how far I would think that I would make it in this tournament. But I'm happy with my outcome, and
do you have any questions for him, Star? I'm trying to think of some right now.
How are you feeling when you failed some of the skips that you were attempting, like the jetpack skip?
Actually, that one, I don't really consider that a fail because I haven't really mastered that yet. I was actually laughing my ass off. Oh, I'm sorry, pardon my French. I was laughing really hard because I managed to get it so that I was in a place where I almost couldn't get hit. So I basically cheesed that section.
You didn't do the overflow method, right? You just kind of punch card into the cutscene.
Yeah, I just punch card into it. That's correct.
I totally forgot that was even a method that you can do, as so many people over the years have just done overflow instead of punch carding into it.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, the most frustrating part was right before Muffet. I'm pretty sure my gameplay, my gameplay pretty much showed my frustration at that section. Yeah. I was actually pretty sure that I lost at that point.
Keep in mind that for the first part of the skip, if you don't get in the first few tries, it's not worth it, as it doesn't save that much time to begin with. You lost a lot of time going for it than you would have just to go around instead.
So, what was your actual thought process when you actually gave up doing the Rangu combo?
I mean, I went into the... I'm still really kind of trying to get it down. I know I can get the first part of it down, but the second and third parts I've always really had a struggle with. And
yeah, there's the cues to get the wrong warp are very difficult.
Yeah, and basically I was like, okay, I'm only going to try this a few times, and if I can't get it, I might as well just keep going.
That's a fair approach to take.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, after the approach that I took pre-Muffet, that was, I figured that was a more reasonable way for me to keep up with a semi-decent pace.
Overall, after the first little wrong warp of the Ranbu, if you do miss the first one, you can always actually punch card through at the Azador cutscene and continue on.
Oh, how did I never think of that? Jeez.
Yeah, that is possible. It's slower, obviously, but it's much more safer if you're not used to wrong warps.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, THK is about to enter the final phase of Flowey.
Awesome.
So, I'm gonna give one more shout out to our runners here. They did amazing.
I did the best I could.
You all did the best you could.
Did.
Honestly, if I can take a little bit of time, I want to actually give a shout out to a couple friends of mine who actually who were instrumental in convincing me to actually go out for this and actually learn this game. My friends Anthony and Miranda, they were on my case for the better part of a year to actually pick this game up, and I was like, and then after SGDQ, I finally did, and I actually really enjoyed it a lot, and I decided to pick it up as a speed game.
It looks like we have one of your friends here in chat. Friends can really go a long way with determining your decision.
By the way, did you figure out about that Friends app?
I'm sorry?
I can't hear you.
Did you look up that Friends app?
Say that one more time.
Did you look up that Friends app?
No.
What the hell would you know about Friends?
Oh.
Listen, he said it himself earlier. I'm just repeating what he said.
I don't know what friends are. Closest I have is an acquaintance.
He said he would look up an app for Friends earlier.
I hear some amazing stuff with my ex, because she has like a million friends. Good. Looks like THK is now finished with the Flowey fight.
Excellent, excellent.
So now let's just cutscene later.
Fun thing, after you get hit by the friendliness pellets, you don't actually have to mash anymore, you can just kind of let it go. And let the cutscene go. There's a little bit of time you can take a break or do something.
Well, not that I really could do much at that point anyway. It's not like I was gonna go up and get a coffee or something.
You'd be surprised, some people would manage to do that once they're used to the run.
True.
Well, I suppose it depends on the configuration of someone's house or something.
Yeah, like we were talking earlier, during the Undying cutscene after Spears 1, Firestar would go up to heat some food and I'd go to the bathroom. Because of how long it is.
Yeah. Literally the longest cutscene in the game for the Sprout.
I was actually kind of impressed with myself that I only managed to get nicked once in that section. I was a little more sad in the second part where I got hit twice. I was like, oh, come on!
The second phase is more difficult than the first.
It absolutely is. It's definitely a good test of your reaction time.
And endurance.
Yes.
If you don't move correctly, you can just kind of get trapped and then you go ahead and then
and that's exactly what happened to me on the second hit.
Yeah.
Okay. So, time's coming up soon. Let me just say this final time quickly. After this cutscene.
I apologize, by the way, for borking my timer.
It happens, all good.
As long as it was a live split. So,
123.56.
Never split. Good job, good sir. Well, final time?
It says 124.02, but it's a 123.56.
Yeah. It never posted it in the SRO room. Whoa.
So congratulations.
Yeah, because he ended up
and Oasis.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Yeah, it actually looks like he left the room twice. Must have gotten disconnected.
Okay, we should be joined in a minute. What's up, THK? Congratulations on your time.
Thanks, I guess.
It was a close race up to the end.
Oh, Hotlands.
I feel so bad for you, man.
I can't believe that, of all things, soft locked.
I want to give you a little tip for magic. Instead of skipping it, if you get into the fight, you can just
I can just flee, right?
you just throw the stick at him and it'll instantly spare him.
Magic is the equivalent of a dog, apparently.
I did not know that, but I'm so mad at that Hotlands. That
At least you know to practice.
yeah.
Yeah.
It looked like ever since the death you unfortunately had at Mad Dummy, things started going downhill from there. Do you have
A little bit. My internet did go out, so I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but my 1 dying was actually a 2 dying.
Oh, Oasis had the same thing.
Oh, he
Yeah,
did?
yeah,
Okay.
I did. Yeah, I was just a little too far forward.
How close was it up until Mad Dummy? Like, was it neck and neck or something?
It was neck
It was
and neck.
really close, yeah.
Yeah. Damn it. Why didn't I take that safety save before? I was taking so many safety saves, and the one I didn't killed me.
That happens to you a lot.
Yeah. Hotlands, and then I don't know what was going on. I just could not land my overflows either. I don't know what was going on. Guess that's something else I need to practice.
Takes a bit of time to get used to.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've ran this game before with overflows. I guess I just forgot the timing is all.
Pretty much most things with the punch card can make or break your run.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Oh my god.
And
it is one and done for now, right? So I'm in losers.
There is a losers bracket. You will have another match.
Oh yeah, that's like, I mean, like, this isn't like a best 2 out of 3 kind of thing.
No,
it's a single one. And
Can we talk about that RNG rock skip I got at the beginning there, by the way?
That was surprisingly amazing.
I got so jarred by that. Like, oh wait, I got that. Like, I've
Also,
never had.
Was there any reason you got the pie?
It was for Asgore, just a safety strat for Asgore. I probably didn't need it, but like, I think that was
okay. All right.
that was probably just like TPE kind of setting in there.
Mm-hmm.
Your Asgore throughout the run was pretty good.
My what?
Your Asgore wasn't actually... doesn't look like it took much damage on it.
I still need to get more accurate with those weapons, but yeah, I'm really surprised how well that Asgore fight went damage-wise.
Oh. You guys have anything else to say?
Well, good game. I would absolutely be at your disposal for a rematch in better conditions.
I might have to take you up on that, but after your race with Cookie Apocalypse, because you're going against good
I'm
Max.
gonna get destroyed.
What was his time, by the way? I couldn't see his SRL time.
His SRL time was... let me pull it back up. It was a 1:25:03.
Really?
Wait, what?
What?
Wait, okay, what was his split time?
Well, Star?
It was 123.56.
You can't.
Oh wait, no. Wait, was it? No, it was 123. Yeah, 123.56. Did I say 126?
I missed him by 6 seconds? What?
Oasis had a 1:14:55. THK had a 1:25:03.
Oh. Oh, you guys worry me there. I'm because like going into Asgard, I was like, there is no way it's close at all.
Yeah.
Well, it was about 10 minutes off.
Yeah.
But
you guys have any... Go ahead.
There's really nothing else much to say. Again, good game, and thanks everyone for coming out. I really appreciate y'all taking your time to spend out your night with us.
Yeah. GG Oasis. That was not the way I wanted this race to end up, but I mean, better man won today.
Like I said, we'll talk about that rematch sometime.
Yeah, we definitely will have to.
So, do you guys have anything else to say?
Nothing on my end.
I'm good.
Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up later on this channel right here, we have a Luigi's Mansion race at 11 p.m. Currently on Speed Gaming 4, we have a link to the Super Metroid hard mode, as well as a daily race going on at Speed Gaming 3. Also coming up at 11 p.m. will be the Zelda 1 randomizer.
Oh, that's always a fun watch.
It definitely is, yeah.
So with that, I will be signing off here. Anything else from you guys?
Nope.
Goodbye forever.
Have a good one.
See ya.